Good afternoon and welcome to WEFM's Midday News, brought to you with the kind compliments of Court St. Vincent Limited.
Find the frames you love at Quartz Optical. Shop today and enjoy 50% off our wide selection of fashionable frames. Choose from our flexible payment plans from 3 to 24 months. Schedule your appointment online today at www.quartzoptical.com. Remember, at Quartz Optical, your comprehensive eye exam is always free. So come in and find the frames you love at 50% off only at Quartz Optical. See you in store for details. Quartz Optical, value you can see.
Welcome back to WEFM's Midday News, brought to you with the kind compliments of Court St. Vincent Limited. I am your presenter, Rajiv Providence. First, on the local scene, the Milton Cater Memorial Hospital was again the recipient of 2 containers stacked with medical equipment and supplies for the hospitals and clinics in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. These containers are valued at over several hundred US each, and the Rotary Club of St. Vincent South is proud to have facilitated these donations for the country through their partnership with the Rotary Medical Equipment and Supplies Abroad, MESA, out of Ohio, USA. The items were handed over in the presence of Ministry of Health personnel, including Permanent Secretary Cuthbert Knight and Deputy Hospital Administrator Andrew Williams. Rotary St. Vincent South was represented by Rotarians Shakila Vera and Kim Haydock. During the COVID-19 pandemic in 2020, Rotary was instrumental in outfitting the isolation unit with furniture, equipment, and supplies in time for the control and management of the situation. The cost of that container was valued at over US $500,000. Over 30 journalists, government information officers, disaster management professionals, and social media influencers from across the Caribbean convened in Miami, Florida for a crisis communication tech camp from February 8th to 9th. The forum aims to improve familiarity with digital tools to filter misinformation in crisis situations and to improve overall communication between agencies and the public and before and after a disaster. The 2-day session was spearheaded by the United States embassies across the English-speaking Caribbean, the Caribbean Disaster Emergency Management Agency (SEDEMA), and the U.S. Department of State's Bureau of Educational and Cultural Affairs. St. Vincent and the Grenadines was represented by API's Director Sean Rose and Training Officer at the National Emergency Management Office, NEMO, Huldah Peters. Still on the local scene, Honorary Consul to St. Vincent and the Grenadines in Turkey, Julia Gunn, is calling on nationals and citizens of St. Vincent and the Grenadines who are residing or visiting Turkey to get in contact with the Honorary Consulate. In a statement, Gunn said to SVG nationals and citizens who have not already contacted the consulate and are in earthquake cities should contact the Honorary Consulate as soon as possible to confirm their status. Please, can all St. Vincent and the Grenadines nationals and citizens residing or visiting Turkey who have not already contacted us and are in the earthquake cities contact the Honorary Consulate as soon as possible to confirm their status, the official statement read. On February 6th, Turkey was struck by 2 major earthquakes in the southeast of Turkey. Many cities have been affected, with the death toll surpassing 17,000 on Thursday. On to news in the region. Trinidad and Tobago's Minister in the Ministry of Agriculture, Land and Fisheries, Avinash Singh, urged the manufacturers and suppliers of animal feed to price their goods in a sensible way, referring to reports of high local prices despite a drop in global freight prices. Speaking in Tuesday's Senate sitting in response to questions from opposition Senator Wade Mack, Singh said he noted that shipping freight costs seem to be coming down, but he has not seen a corresponding decrease in feed prices. I want to join my colleague, the Minister of Trade and Industry. Since last June, she had good reason to call on retailers to have a hat as price gouging seemed evident. And I want to say this, Mr. President, to the feed grain importers and the feed producers. Now that the shipping freight and other inputs seem to be coming down, the grain prices still is at its highest. I joined Senator Mack in calling on feed manufacturers and grain suppliers to allow for good sense to prevail and price their goods accordingly. Singh, however, noted that the TNT government cannot dictate prices for manufacturers and suppliers of animal feed. Jamaica's Prime Minister Andrew Holness says the provision of stiffer monetary penalties for breaches under the Road Traffic Act and regulations is aimed at discouraging bad behavior on the roads and keeping people safe. He said it is not designed as a revenue measure. We have no interest in trying to collect revenue on bad behavior. It is to prevent bad behavior, and that must be said, he pointed out. Among the monetary penalties are $25,000 for failure to yield the right of way to an emergency vehicle, a 10,000 Jamaican fine for using a wireless communication device while driving, as well as smoking marijuana while attempting to or driving. Drivers of motor cars and cycles whose muffler systems exceed 85 decibels will attract a fine of 10,000 Jamaican dollars, while motorcyclists will be fined $10,000 for doing a wheelie on roads. Other penalties include a charge of 20,000 Jamaican dollars for persons operating a vehicle that is not insured, $15,000 for operating a motor vehicle fitted with or which displays lamps emitting a blue light, and 10,000 Jamaican dollars for using a revolving lamp used to warn other motorists and indicate priority of movement in traffic. On the international scene, the leaders of Japan and the Philippines have agreed to increase defense ties, allowing Japanese troops greater access to Philippine territory. The defense arrangement signed by Philippine President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. and Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida on Thursday will allow Japanese troops to join training exercises to respond to natural disasters and humanitarian needs in the Philippines. The agreement is seen as a step towards broader military cooperation between Tokyo and Manila and could lead to similar agreements between Japan and other nations in Southeast Asia, where competition for geopolitical influence has increased amid a more assertive Chinese presence in the region. Kishida said the countries will continue talks to further strengthen and streamline their militaries, joint exercises, and other operations while seeking also to expand the transfer of Japanese defense equipment and technology to the Philippines, as well as strengthening cooperation trilaterally with the United States. And finally, in sports, spinner Todd Murphy took 5 wickets on his Australia debut for Rohit Sharma's century, helped India build a big lead on day 2 of the first test. Rohit hit a classy 120 as the hosts closed on 321-7 in Nagpur, leading by 144 despite off-spinner Murphy's 5-82. India were 229-6, just 52 ahead when Rohit was bowled by Pat Cummins after tea, but Ravindra Jadeja and Aksa Patel then put on an unbroken stand of 81. Jadeja, who took 5 for 47 on day 1, ended on 66 not out, and Patel unbeaten on 52. Australia will fare India's lead, built in response to the visitors being dismissed for 177, could already be decisive on a turning pitch that is expected to deteriorate further throughout the match. This has been WEFM's Midday News. I have been your presenter, Rajiv Providence. Join us again at 3 p.m. for WEFM's 3 p.m. News. WEFM's Midday News is brought to you with the kind compliments of Courts St. Vincent Limited.
When you're behind the wheel, stay alert. Driving safely should always be your top priority. Protect yourself and other road users by keeping your attention on the road. Stay alive. Avoid distractions like cell phones and maintain a safe distance from other vehicles. Only overtake when it is absolutely safe to do so. And remember to be on the lookout for motorcyclists. The life you save today may be yours. Alert today, alive tomorrow. This message is brought to you by AKT Motorcycles, available at courts.